Well, this is Unknown Mysteries, episode 5, Werewolf Stories. Just 1 second. 1 second.
The Gandillan Werewolves. The Gandillan werewolves were a family who, in the late 16th century, were accused and executed for being werewolves. In 1598, a young girl and her brother were attacked by a wolf. Benoist Bidel, aged about 15, had climbed a tree to pluck some fruit, and whilst aloft, saw a wolf dart from some bushes and seize his sister. Leaping down to protect her, Benoist drew his knife. The wolf rushed at him and drove the knife into his neck with a savage blow of the paw. Fortunately, a crowd had heard the commotion and chased the wolf away. The girl died at the scene, and Benoist was taken back to his father's cabin, where he died of his injuries a few days later. Before he died, Benoist claimed that the wolf that attacked him had hands, like a man, covered with hair. The wolf had been maimed by the crowd, and so suspicion fell upon.
1 second.
One Perinet Gandillan, who exhibited a wound in precisely the same place as the wolf had been injured. Unfortunately for her, one of the crowd that injured the wolf was none other than Henri Boguet, 1550 to 1619, a notoriously merciless witch hunter. Boguet arranged a mob, and executed Perinet shortly thereafter. However, as he later revealed in his Discours des Sorciers, 1602, there were rumors that the whole family practiced black magic, and so Boguet had them all arrested. Perinet's daughter, Antoinette, swiftly confessed to witchcraft, but her brother, Pierre, and his son, George, were not so forthcoming. Placed under observation, Boguet recounts how he saw them walk around on all fours, barking and howling, and covered in mysterious scratches. Boguet questioned them whilst they were behaving like this, and they confessed to witchcraft. The Perinet family were burned at the stake.
1 second.
Boguet executed 600 werewolves in his career, according to Voltaire, and his writings are full of lycanthropic examples. Another notable case was that of Claudia Gallard, later dubbed the Werewolf of Burgundy. Claudia was walking through the woods with Jean Perrin, grumbling about receiving so few alms, when she darted into the bushes, and a wolf emerged. Jean dropped her arms, crossed herself, and fled the scene, later revealing that the wolf had toes like a human. When Claudia advised Jean that the wolf would not have harmed her, she was tried and executed.
Well, there you go. Right, here is story 2. Just 1 second.
Wolf of Ansbach. From tales of men who claim to be able to turn into wolves, we come to what seems, with hindsight, to have been a real wolf. The Wolf of Ansbach operated in the area around the modern Bavarian city of the same name in 1685, before being executed in a manner befitting a convicted human criminal. Operating alone, which is very rare for a wolf, this lupine menace began by taking an unusual amount of the livestock being grazed in the countryside. Soon it began to turn its attention to those tending the animals, mostly women and children in Ansbach. The number of peasants the wolf killed is unknown, but its depredations were such that, during a period when people lived cheek by jowl with wolves and occasionally lost their lives to the creatures, fear spread through the region. Just recently, the cruel and merciless Burgermeister.
Just 1 second.
Chief Magistrate of Ansbach had died, and his death was unlamented. It was soon rumoured that the evil magistrate had returned from the grave as a werewolf, and was seeking revenge on those who cared so little for his death. Soon there was a concerted effort to slay the creature and banish the late, lycanthropic Burgermeister. The great mob found the troublesome wolf and tirelessly pursued it with hounds across the country. Wolves have impressive stamina, but eventually, the wolf of Ansbach needed a rest, and so it leaped down a nearby well. The dogs stood baying above the well, leading their masters to the
1 second.
trapped beast, which of course had no means of escaping. It was slain with a variety of weapons, including cudgels and pitchforks. Every angry peasant mob needs the latter. Surprisingly, though, the wolf did not resume its human form upon being beaten, which ran contrary to accepted werewolf lore, and remained lupine. Either from embarrassment, or unwavering faith in the true nature of the animal, the wolf was then treated as if it were human. Triumphantly parading the corpse through Ansbach, the mob first cut off the beast's muzzle, and dressed it in human clothing. A wig was placed on its head, and a beard upon its chin, and so it came to resemble the deceased burgomeister. Finally, though fortunately dead, Wolf was hung from a gibbet for all to see, a common practice for human criminals whose bodies served as a warning to would-be wrongdoers, or werewolves in this case.
Well, there you go. That's the last story of werewolves in this episode. Look out for episode 6 coming soon.